Florida's only statewide elected Democrat is now running for governor. Agriculture Commissioner Nikki made it official this week.
Though she has been hinting at it for months, she is a constant and relentless critic of Governor Ron DeSantis, whom she is running to unseat. But she has to win the Democratic primary first, likely against Congressman Charlie Crist. And now candidate for Governor Nikki Fried is with us live. Hi, Nikki, Commissioner.
Hi, good
What
afternoon,
do we call
everyone.
you? Can we call you Nikki?
Commissioner, good morning or good afternoon now. Great to have you. Great to have you with us. We'll get to the reasons why you are running for governor just a minute. First, I have to ask you, 4 days before your announcement on Tuesday, you amended your financial disclosure form and said, oh, hey, I forgot to list $351,000 I earned last year as a medical marijuana lobbyist. It seems like kind of an oops moment. Why didn't you report that earlier?
No, it wasn't an oops moment. It was a clerical mistake. What happened when I declared in 2018, I had only reported my salary up until that point. And so as we're going back through my documents, ready for filing, we realized with my attorneys that we were supposed to have reported my whole 2017, not just income, but my expenditures as well as reimbursements from clients. So we were being transparent, which is kind of ironic considering that, neither Trump or DeSantis has ever done that. But we wanted to make sure that we were transparent and we went back through and made sure that we made those changes. But all those changes reflect even things that I have been reporting that I had to report as a lobbyist. So that's always been public. It was just going through and making sure that it was accurate as far as gross income versus the salary that I had reported for 2018.
So done and explained. However, this is now the subject of an ethics complaint filed this week. And address, if you would, I mean, things like this really give opposition a chance to attack.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. And again, it's ironic that they're going on this witch hunt against me and my prior company, considering that this was done 24 hours after DeSantis had taken a $100,000 likely illegal campaign contribution. And now they want to go after this. These are things that only using their power, both on political fronts and now state resources for this witch hunt. Again, I was trying to be as open and honest, made a mistake. That's humility and transparency that we don't see with the Republican Party. I have done nothing wrong, and this is the kind of information that we're going to dispute, misinformation that we're going to see through the next 18 months, which is unfortunate because the people of our state deserve so much better than this bickering back and forth and using power. But again, I'm out here to break the system, and they don't like what I have to say, and they know that we're going to win in 2022, so they're going to use that tactic.
Can I just stop you for a minute? I don't want to let that get away. A legal campaign contribution charge, Governor, obviously is not here, and I'm not sure what you're talking about. Can you specify that? Because we'll need to respectfully fact check that.
100%. So he received a campaign contribution, a $100,000 check from shadow money. So there's been allegations that this was an illegal campaign contribution. We don't know where this money is coming from. This individual contribution has been flagged in previous years. So again, their campaign is in chaos trying to figure out what to do with this. But this is, again, part of their game book. They take dark money. Look what happened in the Miami races, the dark money on ghost candidates. And they don't want to address that in a legislative session. Instead, they vote on voter suppression bills. So there was an illegal campaign contribution that we saw, an alleged, we are certainly waiting for their ethics committees as well on a national front to be looking into it. But from everything that we have seen, that there's a potential and illegal campaign contribution.
Okay. And worth to say that that dark money is completely legal in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nikki, let's get to your candidacy. It's the big news politically, I think, of the week. You put out a video announcing your candidacy. You also put out an interesting tweet. I want to put it up on the screen here. People can see what you said, because what you said was, it's time to break, here we go. It's time to break the rigged, corrupt system in Florida. That's why I'm running for governor. Wow, that is some loaded language. What is rigged and corrupt that you are referring to?
Everything. everything. It starts off with how many constitutional amendments can we, the people, vote for in the last 20 plus years, whether it was for the environment, for the dock stamps going into environmentally conscious conservation, to medical marijuana, to class size, to the lottery, to the bullet train, to restoration of civil rights. And every single time that the people vote, it gets up to Tallahassee and the special interests take over and they dismantle that. Look at what happened last year with the unemployment system. This is a system that was designed under Republican governor leadership starting back. A contract was first signed under then Governor Charlie Crist was actually installed and worked through under Rick Scott. And then Governor DeSantis knew all the problems and nothing was changed. And so the system was designed to rig and to hurt the people of our state. Same thing with our economy. You know, Ron signed a piece of legislation this year that increased our taxes by over $1 billion. Yet at the same time, cut taxes to the corporations, the 1%ers, by $500,000.
Commissioner, let me, if I may, just stop you for a second. You know, if in fact you become the governor, the legislature still would be controlled by the Republican Party. They are the ones who have, in many ways, disregarded the will of the people. I mean, look what they did with the cruise ships going into Key West. They simply overturned a referendum. But how would you, as a Democrat dealing with a Republican legislature, get anything done?
Well, first off, my background will tell you that it is possible. I was brought up in Miami with a diehard Republican as a father, diehard Democrat as a mother. Dinner table conversations were always interesting and was able to kind of learn from both sides and come to compromise. Did the same thing when I was a government consultant up in Tallahassee working on issues, worked with both sides of the aisle. And I'd done that as commissioner. My first legislative session, we passed a monumental piece of legislation legalizing hemp here in the state of Florida, received 1 no vote in both chambers, all 3 committees. The bills were sponsored by Republicans. I talk to Republicans on a very normal basis.
Oh, can we sit tight for a minute and take a quick break?
Absolutely.
Okay,
right.
thanks. See you in
We'll be
2.
back.
Stay tuned. We are back with Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried in her official capacity as candidate for governor. I wanted to ask you about this current impasse between Governor DeSantis and the cruise industry, critical to the state. The cruise industry trying to right the ship of business after the pandemic. Under CDC mandate that most of the passengers and crew are vaccinated, whereas the governor has banned vaccine passports and even asking for proof. So this week, right after you announced for governor on a cable news interview, you suggested that the cruise lines look at leaving Florida if the governor's not willing to work with them, which frankly is kind of a strange thing to hear from someone wanting to run the state about this giant economic driver. Can you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's first go back to how we got here. You know, Ron DeSantis went through this pandemic. It was his way or the highway, wanting to believe that he was right about everything. And, you know, again, I go back to what I was always taught about the Republican Party, that it's supposed to be less government intrusion, small government as far as local government, and less taxes, less spending, and free market. Ron DeSantis took free market away from the cruise line industry and so many businesses across the entire state. And so the cruise line industry has to make a business decision of what is going to be best for their patrons, as well as best for their people that actually work on the cruise line industry. This cruise line industry is paramount to the state of Florida, as far as the amount of tourists that get brought in here, the amount of jobs associated with the industry. Of course, nobody wants the industry to leave. Somebody who went on cruises about twice a year, of course, I don't want him to leave. But the governor has to work with people and has to understand compromise, and that free market has got to rule the day here. And that is not what he has done. So I am hoping that he continues to work with the cruise line industry. They're necessary for our economy, and I hope that they don't leave. But they need to make decisions what's best for their industry, which is what free market means. And so hopefully they're going to be able to come up with some compromise that isn't going to put the people that are wanting to be on the industry, come onto a cruise, in peril of getting COVID-19.
Yeah. Nikki, you have been relentlessly critical of Governor DeSantis. He returned the favor this week, you know, really in a, I think, kind of a nasty way, put you down, said you are a lockdown lobbyist and other things. But, you know, when you look at the way he handled COVID-19, going into ALFs and long-term care facilities, sending in National Guard teams to vaccinate seniors, Would you concede that he, in some ways, did a good job for the seniors of the state of Florida?
What I have said from time and time again about how Governor DeSantis has dealt with this pandemic is in a non-transparent, non-empathetic, his way or the highway type of approach. Didn't bring in local governments, didn't bring in the business community to make decisions, didn't bring in congressional delegation, and really was short-sighted on how he dealt with this, and went on a national tour to go around saying how he was successful. 37,000 people died in our state. People lost family members, lost their jobs, and he didn't care. He cared about being right. And look what he did when the rollout of the vaccine. He made it a Hunger Games for our seniors. While they all are now hopefully vaccinated.
Nikki, I apologize. Hate to do it, but we are out of time. But Glenna and I invite you to come back. There's a long time between now and the primary. Maybe we'll get you and Charlie Crist together. That would be
fantastic.
Our apologies. There was breaking news today. And so we will have you back for sure, and appreciate your time so much. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everyone.
You too.